Manyara, welcome back to Matumza Productions, back again with another video. It's been a minute, but yeah, we're finally back to the videos, yeah man. And today we have a mixing and mastering tutorial. I'm going to be showing you how I mix thoughts and feelings of my new project, The Home of Jazz, with me time. So yeah guys, without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so for those of you who are new to the channel and haven't seen any tutorial, there's a mixing and mastering video that we did a couple of months back. So if you haven't watched that one, I would recommend watching that first and then coming back to this video, because today we're gonna be going into a little bit more in-depth things versus the first video where I was just showing you how to do it with stock plugins. I call it a mixing and mastering video, but we're just literally focusing more on the mixing because that's where you need to get everything right. You know, mastering is just to push up the volume, make sure that everything is sounding tight and clean. So today we're just gonna be looking at the project from a mixing point of view. I have a different process when it comes to mastering music after I'm done mixing. But I won't be sharing how I do that. If you wanna know, you can hit me up. My number is in the description. And yeah guys, I do offer the service if you're interested, and a couple of other things. I'll put up a poster here. So yeah, if you guys need more in-depth tutorials, one-on-one lessons, mixing, mastering, or ghost production, feel free to contact me. At business only, don't be sending me beats. Gents, I give out the video out. Matumza, please listen. Like, let's have a conversation first. Tell me what it is that you need help with, and then we'll take it from there. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, name is just that I can't be listening to everybody's beats, unfortunately. You know, I get messages every day, so I'm trying to accommodate everyone. I'm gonna come up with a system where the community, Matumza Productions, we can come together and, you know, share and connect. I'm gonna do a challenge soon where you guys can send through and I'll sit down and react to probably the top 20 beats. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But without wasting any more time, let's get into the reason why you guys are here. So I'm gonna play a little bit of the song. For those of you that listen to the project, you already know what it sounds like, but let's just play a little bit of the song mixed. This is with all the effects, everything switched on. So yeah, it sounds like this. So as you can hear, this version sounds different from the one that's out because this is not mastered. This is just how it sounds mixed in FL Studio. So usually when I'm now going to master it, I export it as a WAV file and then I master it. So that's why if you're listening with headphones and you've heard the original track, you're gonna hear it sounds different. The mastered version sounds more full, it sounds complete, you know, but this still sounds amazing, it sounds great. So what we're gonna do now is just go through the elements one by one and just come with the project, because there's a lot that goes on in the song. So yeah, let's just focus on the first part. Hey, by the way guys, this project, it took me a year to finish. I started this project, let's see, it was on the 14th of April, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yeah, no, I'm lying. On the 4th, on the 1st of April 2024. And I only finished it, when was it? A few months back. When did the home just drop? In June. So I finished it, in June, early June. So mixing and mastering can be quite a process, especially if you're doing everything yourself, which is not recommended. But guys, you must work with what you have. Work with what you have. So one of my favorite projects of all time. One of the best projects I feel like I'll ever make in my music career, because the song is just crazy, bro. So yeah, let's play everything. So we've got our kick and the bass, the foundation, drums. So let's play that and hear what it sounds like. So you hear the drums sound like very heavy and mixed, because as you might know if you watch the first mixing and mastering video, cutting low end frequencies is very important, gents. So that's what I did. This is the main drum that I have. So I just added this EQ, Fab Filter Pro Q3. I feel like this is one of the best equalizers, you know. As much as I love the Fruity Parametric Equalizer 2, this one is just very specific with the frequencies that it cuts. So yeah, I just cut around the low end. We don't really need that. And then for the kick, I just basically added a small cut at the low, like around 28 hertz, because I don't want the frequencies that are below that. And then added a bit of a sound goodizer just to give it more of a kick nyana, and then a soft clipper, just so I don't even know why I actually added this thing, if I'm being honest with you, but it's there, babe. Then my shakers, I just really cut the low end so that it's clean. So for my loops, I basically just cut the low end frequencies. I'm getting away the noises that I don't want, just so it sounds nice. Everything is sitting in its own place. It's very important to pan. And what I also like to do for my drums, if you can notice here, is like I like to push some elements stereo, some elements I put them in mono. I feel like when I do that, everything has its own place, you know. It just makes the mix sound so much cleaner. Okay, so now that you've heard how the drums sound mixed, now we can move on to the chord progression. But yeah, just to quickly recap on the drums, basically cut low end frequencies, pan your elements left and right. Some make them mono, some make them stereo, until it sounds good to your ear, man. So yeah, let's focus on the chord progression now. So as you can see here on my mixing chain for the chord, I didn't do too much, just the Fruity Parametric EQ, some stereo enhancer, a bit of delay and a bit of reverb. And that's how it sounds. Oh, and I also like to create a bus for my reverb where I can just, you know, link it and add it to the side there. For this chord, I didn't add the reverb on the mixing chain, but because I already linked it here, it's sounding nice. So now we can move on to the bass line. So as you can hear, the bass line now, it's sounding a bit flat. It's like under the music, whereas it should be not dominating, but it should be a presence because it's the one that's carrying the groove. So what I did is I added some synthesizer just to give it a bit of a boost. Now already you can hear. And then because I didn't want it to do too much, I added a fruity parametric EQ just to cut those unwanted frequencies there by 30 Hz. We can't even hear them. The human ear can't hear below that frequency. So after that, I added a bit of a stereo enhancer just to boost the volume a little bit. Then I added another EQ, just boosting a little bit of the bass just to get more of that frequency sounding alive. Then I added a fruity blood overdrive, which is like what's this thing called? It's distortion, but I added a little bit, just a little bit, because you don't want too much, or else it's gonna now pierce your ears. Then a fruity clip also that it doesn't clip, and that's the bass line. So now we have our beat pretty much sounding like this. Then I can add this pad, and for my pads, very simple. Cut the low end frequencies and then fruity stereo enhancer, and I add the 4 strings preset, and now it's just sitting nicely in the mix. So now let's listen to the piano recording, because inzima. So as you can hear, the piano recording unmixed is being drowned by the music. So the first thing I actually did was denoise this waveform of the piano recording before I even got to mixing it. So for those of you who don't know how to denoise, you click the waveform here and then you say edit in audio editor. It's gonna pull this up, the Edison. Then you click a portion of the waveform that has no recordings of any instruments of the vocals, just the white noise that is picked up when you're recording. And then you right click here by this noise. It's gonna require the noise profile, which is that white noise, the unwanted frequencies that you want, the background noise that you don't want. And after you right click and select the whole waveform, you then come to the brush, then play around with the threshold and amounts, and then it's gonna denoise. So I can't show you now because already I've denoised this, but usually whenever recording vocals, whenever you're recording from a microphone straight and you're recording via the sound card, you just need to denoise and make sure that everything sounds nice, it's clear. So that's the first thing that I did. I denoised. After denoising, let's look to the mixer and see what I added. So I added some EQ to this. Let's mute the thingy. So I added some fruity, not fruity, but Fab Filter Pro Q3 on the piano, just to cut a bit of those high frequencies that we don't need, because the piano recording just sits between this mid-range frequency. So I was also hearing some white noise that I didn't like, so I had to just cut it Then I added another equalizer where I was doing boosts to the mids, as you can see here, just to give it a bit of control. Thereafter I added a stereo enhancer just to increase the volume a little bit. Thereafter I compressed it using the Fruity compressor, and these are my settings. Already you can hear it sounds more alive. I added a bit of reverb and delay and a bit of sound quantizer. Yo, already now it sounds alive. Yo, I guru of it. So now that you've heard the piano recording, how I mixed it, I think the next thing I want to take a look at is the horn section. So usually what I do if I'm recording live elements, either vocals, instruments, like in this case I recorded this flugelhorn. I did multiple takes, so usually I would record 3 takes, pen 1 left, pen 1 right. In this case I only used 2, and pen 1 to the hard right, pen the other one to the hard left, so that it sounds like sounds something like this. So now it took me a while to mix these horns, because yes, like I would come back to the song so many times and tweak it and leave it and tweak it and leave it. So let me walk you through what I did here. So as you can hear, unmixed, you can't even hear it. So I added, actually let's mute the piano, because you don't want to hear what I'm doing here. So the first thing I did was just cut some of the unwanted frequencies, the white noise at the top, and also some low end frequencies, and we're just focusing on the mid section here. The next thing I did was compress, a little bit of compression, and then added some delay nyana, just so you know, very spicy nyana. The delay makes it brighter. Added with the reverb, bit of sound quantizer, just to boost that. Oh, the sound quantizer, sound quantizer, guys, is such an underrated tool. Such an underrated tool, because you can basically boost frequencies with this plugin. And then Fruity stereo enhancer, just did slight adjustments, and that's basically how my horns sound for the melody part. So now I'm gonna also unmute the trumpet, the muted trumpet. Hey, this was also tough to mix, I won't lie, because it kept piercing. It was very harsh. At what frequency is this? At around 4,423 hertz. Yeah, hey, mixing this was just something else. So let me just mute everything so that we can hear. Okay, how does it sound? So I added. So the first thing I did was cut some frequencies. The second EQ, I did a lot of more cuts, some more specific cuts, because these frequencies were harsh. Then I added a multi-band compressor. And when I usually use this multi-band compressor, I like to use the bright preset, but I usually play around with it just to hear what I like. Then over some sound goodizer to boost and make it sound alive. Stereo enhancer, just boosting some more frequencies, making it louder. Added a second compressor to it, just to, you know, flatten it out a little bit. And then added some reverb delay, you know, standard, makes it sound brighter. Then I still felt like the frequencies in the higher end were too much, so I did some cuts. I reduced some of that high end because it was harsh, man. And then I added another sound goodizer just to make it tighter. And that's how my muted trumpet sounds. Yo, So I think now we can move on to looking at how I mix the effects for this first part. There's some jazz elements that you hear throughout the song, such as this, I don't know, these new jazz drums, and then there's a crash that I use. But I did some simple things here for these effects. I just literally cut low-end frequencies. I added some delay. Hey guys, cutting low-end frequencies is basically the theme of like mixing, bro. Like, just cut frequencies that you don't want, pair, make some elements stereo, make some elements mono, you know? Literally guys, like, obviously the more you do it, the better you get at it, but you get those fundamentals right, just know how to create room in a mix for all the elements to sit and everything to be heard. You've got pretty much a dope mix, bro. Like, you don't need to do much more than that. Well, so yeah, let me just play those effects. Okay, so let's look at the children playing in the background, how I mix them, because they play an important role in as much as they're not in the forefront, they're still there. So I used this fruity parametric EQ, cut the low ends, I did a little bit of a boost there, added a fruity enhancer, and then added some delay and some reverb, and then separated the stereo a little bit so you can see it in its own place. So in this section, my string section comes to life. Oh, like a string section makes the song so more powerful because it gives it so much emotion. So what I did is just add some fruity parametric EQ2, some stereo enhancer just to make it broader, fruity stereo shaper, and some delay. And that's what makes it sound so amazing. Then there's this other element. I doubt a lot of you hear this element. Hey, you have to have really dope ears to hear this. I don't know what this is, but it's just some dope melody. It's like a voice. So that just plays in the background also, and it's not really audible, but it does play. If you really listen, you'll hear it. And so I just literally cut low end frequencies, added some delay, fruity stereo enhance. So you can see there's a pattern in the way I mix. I pretty much do the same things over and over again because they work. Why not? You know? That's why I was saying, get the fundamentals right, James. And then this thing is very simple, straightforward. So I think you pretty much covered the first part of the song, you know, because the piano, the first bass line, the chords that play. So now let's look at the change. Let's listen to the second part. This is my favorite part of the song. Because now also here we added the walletza. So I want to just go through the second section with you guys so you can hear what's up. Because also now, this is where Mr. Pablo now plays his solos. And I mix these differently. So as you can hear now, the horn, and a trumpet. So now it was sounding a bit flat. Now let's look through what I did mixing it. So I basically added a bunch of reverbs and then cut frequencies, added compression, some delay, a little bit more reverb, some quantizer just to boost it again, stereo enhancer, and then I cut a little bit more of the high end with the Fab Filter Pro Q there. That's how it sounds. So let's hear it with the music. Alright. Go. Go. Alright. So now as you can hear, it's a bit sanga because now we muted all the mixer channel of the second part. So we need to unmute and take it step at a time. So let's just listen to the second bass line. This section is so smooth, bro. So for this bass line, I added some sound quantizer. I added some fruity parametric EQ. Some stereo enhancer, a little bit more fruity parametric EQ just to boost it, and some compression just to give it. And so you can hear these drums here. So I just basically cut. So I didn't want the kick from these drums here. Now the walitza, this walitza is like a number 6 because it's holding it down, but you won't even notice. It adds so much flavor to the second part. As soon as I mix it, you can see like it feels like something is missing. But as soon as I add it, So I basically added some reverb here, some fruity chorus, fruity stereo shaper, some more stereo enhancer, some more delay, and another EQ, and then over some reverb on the side, just so it like sits so nice there at the background. so basically now I've played you guys pretty much all the elements in the song. The last section that we need to look at is where the log drum comes in. So this is what it sounds like. Fade. Bro, and a melodic drum is very simple. A flutes and a log drum on top of it. So I do simple things for my E flutes and thingy. On the E flutes, which is the sub bass, this is the cuts I did. Then on the log drum itself, added a sound quantizer to give it a punch. Then added another EQ where I basically boosted some of the bass and cut the frequencies below that frequency there. And then I added another log drum for the second section. And then I just added this basically, the percussion control. And yeah, just that's basically how I mix thoughts and feelings. So like I said, thereafter I just literally took the level of all of this, took it down so that in the master channel it's hitting at negative 6 dB. That's why for those of you wondering what's this wave candy doing here, I was trying to check the level of how loud, where it's peaking. So usually if you're going to now take your music for mastering, you must make sure that it peaks at negative 6 dB. There's enough headroom space for the mastering engineer now to compress it and add gain. So yeah guys, that's basically the video. I do hope that you learned something, you know. Yeah man, tell me what you guys think in the comment section. You know, what more would you like to learn about in depth, in detail? Because I know there's a lot. I know there's probably things that I skipped, but I just wanted to do basically an overview for you guys on how, you know, what my thought process was when it came to mixing the song, and hopefully you take a thing or two. So thank you so much gents for watching the video. If you are interested in any of the services that I did mention in the beginning of the video, for those of you who forgot, here they are: mixing, mastering, private lessons, sample packs, no my talk. Just hit me up, my number's in the description. And yeah man, we're back better and get ready for more content, more engaging content as well. I'm gonna get you guys involved. Like I said, there's gonna be challenges soon on the channel, you know, and exciting times. Memberships will be available, websites are being built. Yeah gents, it's looking nice, I won't lie. So thank you so much for the support on these videos, and yeah, feel free to suggest any more videos that you would like to see on the channel. And until the next time, I'm going.